So that podcast
interesting.
built a six-figure coaching consulting business inside of real estate. I had no problem pissing off literally everyone in that room, including my own best friend. I literally had 100 heads turn around and like start yelling at me.
Do you feel like you have like a non-traditional approach to business and having influence and all this stuff?
I don't want to be famous, just a little famous. And that's why we're talking with the author of Microfame today. Hey there, welcome to Real Random, where the world of real estate gets a whole lot more exciting. I'm Ray, joined by Rick and Rebecca, and here's the deal. Every episode, one of us surprises the other with a special guest from the real estate universe. Think top professionals, industry rebels, and unsung heroes of real estate. We're talking unscripted, unpredictable, and undeniably real. So are you ready for the random? All right, well, welcome to Real Random.
Gonna just
That's
really
pretty
launch
much-
off with that, yeah.
Yeah. I feel a little bit sorry for our guests because they never know, like, when are we actually on or when are we?
You know,
we
in
know
30
when we're
minutes,
on?
then we'll bring you in and you can talk
we're
about
just
whatever
gonna
at
chat
that
while you
point.
sit there.
we may or may not let you talk.
That's fine. They said they're gonna have like a hostage situation going on with like a hood, no lights.
Listen to you say they. I mean, last time you gave it away a little bit because you said he, and then
Oh,
the
did I?
person and then the person was like the most dope guest. So I was like, okay, it's a West Coast he. There's a limited number of, but this
right.
one it's just guests sitting there. So I'm
getting
excited to
better.
get to them. All right, so you want to start? You want to kick off?
Tell us a little something about him.
Should we? Should we even get
You
into
just
it?
want to make them wait the whole show?
Just talk about something else.
No. Okay. So our guest today could be called the Helen of Troy of podcasts. He thinks Threads and Clubhouse are a waste of time. He considers himself to be a hermit while also running a successful marketing company that helps others become micro-famous. Please help me welcome the talented Matt Johnson. Matt, where is he? There he is.
I assume this is the part where I unmask myself.
there you go.
Yes.
Very good.
All right, good. It's like being on a Hollywood game show.
This is like a Hollywood
better.
Squares. Nice. Well, when she was giving the description, I felt like she was talking about me. I'm like, I'm already on the show. I definitely think some of those things are a waste of time.
All right, good. I was watching to see who I would offend in the first 30 seconds of that without even saying a word myself. I figured that'd be pretty impressive.
Oh, that's good. Well, kudos to you on following all the instructions and getting here without us knowing at all who you were. So,
Thank you.
yeah, way to go.
I am a little disappointed that there's no hood though, because I was kind of wanting like a Scooby-Doo reveal. Like they
I
reveal the
know.
Oh,
villain.
would have gotten away with it too if you
All of-
They
All
unveiled
of my
bad guy?
pillowcases were occupied. You know, there's drugs and money stuffed, and they like have to move the drugs and money
Oh,
out of
yeah,
the
that's-
pillowcases, and that it's
So
just a
tedious.
hassle.
Wow.
Maybe that's how we do future episodes. We do it like the Masked Singer. Like they have to wear a mask and everyone forgets who they are.
Oh my
The
god.
mass podcaster. Okay, so I do have to ask, did anybody understand the Helen of Troy reference?
No.
No.
It flew,
imagine,
it
like,
whooshed right over me.
I knew it
Wait, is it
would.
the launch thing?
Yes.
Okay,
So the
all
the
right.
face that launched 1,000 ships, Matt has launched like
Ah.
1,000 podcasts. So it fit. I wanted to bring a little
like
bit more
it.
of like a highbrow level to this.
That's
because
good
you
luck.
know
That's
the
where you
classes
lost
set
us.
up.
You start dipping into classic
Yeah.
literature and historical events, and yeah, you
As
lose
I-
the audience.
As I sip my Modelo.
So, question for Matt: Matt, do you only buy red books?
No, there's actually
Oh,
a
there's
white
yellow
and
ones,
blue.
too.
There's
Section
some
of
lovely
yellow
blue
books.
section down
They're
here,
just
but
color
you can't
coordinated.
See it. Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, if you want to be a successful publisher, the cover's got to be red or yellow. Or if you want Matt to buy the book, it's got to be red, yellow, or white.
They said
Then
there's a
he'll buy
blue
that
that's
section
very
down below.
true.
We just can't see it.
book. Oh, we
There's
can't see the
actually
blue section.
two blue books. That's it.
Yeah. Yes, I hate any authors that have a blue book. I don't buy them. They do catch the eye. I will say like red is so that's mine. Which is why it's like right behind me. So then I stuck the red
nice.
section right next to it, and then next thing you know, you have like all red books behind you.
How many copies of your own book do you have on the shelf?
All the thousands that I haven't sold.
All of them.
Oh, I meant to say that you also have many leather-bound books, but that
I
apparently
do.
would have been a lie.
Those are in the other room. Yeah, those are in the
Do you
other
really have leather-bound books?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I do like bookbinding. I could go in on some bookbinding.
Yeah,
And
get
yes,
rid-
the
Same thing
class-
I've never
reference.
gotten that nerdy about books. Like when you start getting into binding materials, like you've lost even me.
Oh, they're cool, man.
Oh goodness.
We're
All right.
learning so much about Ray doing this
I
podcast.
know,
We
that's-
really
that's what
are.
it
He
is.
apparently
Yeah.
likes to drink on the podcast. He
Every
loves many
podcast,
other
yeah.
Dungeon
bad things.
master who likes to bind books.
Yes.
I've been
So-
on some shows where it's like a Friday afternoon, and you crack a beer or
Right.
whatever.
Is this
This is
it?
a Wednesday at noon Pacific. I just would
Yeah.
like to point out to anyone that's listening to this later, this is not 5 o'clock on a Thursday or Friday. This is midday, midweek.
I
and
think
he's cracking a
somewhere
beer.
it is 5. So.
Well, it's
Sure.
2 p.m. in Arkansas, but
That's
again,
close
it's
enough.
Arkansas, so
Yeah.
I'm surprised you waited this long.
Wow.
I've been in the Midwest. I know how it is.
That's true, though.
Mm.
I didn't wait. I started at 12. But anyway,
All right. So Matt, like I said before, he makes people micro famous. And I don't know if you've heard of his book called Microfamous, the one that has the red cover on the back there. But that is all about becoming micro famous, which is what we are all trying to do these days, it seems.
Does seem that way.
what's the significance of micro? When you say micro famous, it's
Yeah.
not small famous, but it's famous in a niche.
Yeah, preferably a profitable one. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like if you're gonna be micro famous, it better be in a niche where people have money. That's kind of important. Otherwise, you'll end up being very poor. Yeah, well, it came about indirectly because I was doing what you guys are doing, right? I started a podcast called Real Estate Uncensored a million years ago in 2015. We were kind of one of the original 10 real estate podcasts, right? And so that's done really well. So that's at 3 million downloads and counting. It has like a mainstream agent audience, right? But around that same time, I launched the team building podcast with Jeff Cohn, which I also co-hosted for several years. And that was aimed at like cream of the crop team leaders. Like you're doing 50 to 100 deals or more a year. That's the only people that we're going to come to his workshop for $3,000 in Omaha, Nebraska and spend 2 days to learn all their systems, right? So that podcast has never done the number of downloads that my first one did. And that's fine. It does really well in that niche. And that niche is where all the people who have money hang out. So that podcast built a 6-figure coaching consulting business inside of real estate in a couple of years. And now even like, 7 years later, is still the primary driver of that consulting business and gets 200 people to show up to their yearly event. So yeah, that was like a huge light bulb moment that the going for the mainstream audience and going for the big numbers doesn't actually make you more money.
That's interesting. So your other podcast with 3 million downloads, that one's not doing near the revenue that your other one is, but it's not necessarily from ad revenue, because I think a lot of creators kind of look at getting famous on YouTube or getting famous on TikTok or getting famous in the podcast world and think, well, I'm going to sell ads against it. But you're saying, no. There's a totally different revenue stream that you have access to through the connections.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, selling advertising is like the worst business model. It's rough. So we did that in the real estate space. We've done everything that you can possibly do to monetize a show like this, right? We've done company sponsorship, short term. We tried long term. We've had companies bring us in because they heard us on the podcast and then brought us in to like train their sales team. And we've done paid speaking gigs, and we've done this. We ended up being just like recruiting and building a downline under EXP. But we also tried like coaching. We created courses and sold courses and stuff like that off the show. The EXP is the best thing that's working. So we'll make 6 figures a year off the back end of the podcast, but like indirectly by talking about EXP or just basically getting somebody into a relationship. And then they go, you know what? I was already thinking about joining. I'd rather join through you guys so that I have the relationship with you guys and can lean on you for support. So yeah, like it was a very roundabout way to monetize a podcast. It's the most like indirect way you can imagine, but it actually ended up being the best for us. And all the other stuff that we tried, like ads, you'd be shocked at how much work it takes to make maybe $1,000 a month and like offset your podcast costs. You have to bend over backwards for sponsors just to make that pittance, that pocket change, to keep, just to say that you have sponsors.
Yeah, that's so true. I have a little news podcast we've had for about 5 years, just real estate news. And in that, we always get contacted by advertisers saying, hey, we want to advertise on your show. And it always sounds up front like a good deal. And then when you start to dig in and what they ask for, I'm like, this totally takes out time for me selling real estate, which I make 10 times more doing that. So it's always, and what's funny, for years we were called the Bearded Men of Real Estate Show. And there was a company that was, they sell razors. And they kept on I'm like, we don't use.
I think you
like,
get what's going on here.
Not
beard oil, maybe. But not,
yeah. So, it was really awkward partnership. Like this is not going to work.
Like, we love our beards, but at some point when we decide we hate them, this is the product that we'll use.
This is a product I'm considering using many years down the road. No,
they figured you'd be manscaping other areas. That's all.
Right.
The most
Maybe
likely.
if they had a shaver, that worked.
Manscaped did reach out, but I just couldn't put that on a. It's hard to go from like, hey, here's what's happening in the news to, by the way, are you feeling hairy?
I got the product for you?
What's the segue there?
That's right. It's like,
I think that's
those
right.
painful Brazilian waxes. Isn't it about time you stop that?
That's right.
Kelly Clarkson.
Right, wait, so Matt, are you with EXP?
Yeah. It's we've been with them since 2018.
I'm so sorry. We have to kick you off.
Yeah, that's the.
Well, and I
that's
don't
the
talk
right?
about it publicly, but if you ask like how we monetize the show, if we get into that discussion, I'll let people know just so that they don't have unrealistic expectations, because I want I have people come in that they want to launch a show, they want to launch a podcast, YouTube channel, whatever. And they come in with the exact same ideas that you guys mentioned, which is that, well, let's sell advertising to offset, at least to offset the cost of the show. Everybody wants to zero base their podcast. I'm like, just stop. Like if you sell one coaching package, one course a month, it offsets the cost of your podcast in most cases. Like just stop trying to diversify and offset the cost and just sell more of the shit that you sell, right? Just sell more stuff. So like when you get into that conversation, that's when I'll mention it, because then it keeps people's expectations realistic, as opposed to, I can just do XYZ, throw out some ad dollars and make 6 figures a year. Because no, you can't, unless you're doing multiple millions of downloads a year. And even then it's a pain in the butt. So anyway, so the book was basically like, hey, future clients, here's all the stuff I wish you knew, like all the inside baseball about this stuff of what it actually takes to pull this off. And more importantly, like I have a lot of people coming in that come from like the hustle bro Gary V culture, and they think that's how you grow a show. So they come in going, hey, what are you going to do for me on social media to grow a show? And I go, we're going to do certain things, but that's not what actually makes a show successful to begin with. You got to get your head straight and look at things completely differently. So I just found myself having like the same conversations over and over again. And so I just put that stuff in the book.
And that's the way it works. Good. I know you're a big fan of hustle culture. That's
I love it. I live, breathe it every day.
Hustle and grind.
That's right. If you could see my tattoos, I have Gary V tattooed on my back.
Gosh.
Full, double size.
Full portrait. No, if you look at Matt's YouTube and his Instagram, you'll see he is not a super fan of that. At least that's how it seems.
No, I'm not. I don't think he's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he's a guy who had one good idea and he executed on that, and now he's kind of spurred a movement, and the movement has outgrown him, and the movement has gone like screaming probably off in a direction that he really doesn't have a lot of control over anymore. And so he's trying to talk to younger people. He's trying to talk about work ethic and stuff, but that's not my market. And that's not probably any of us. Like once you're successful, you've kind of figured out how to put the donut down and get off the couch and get to work. Now the question is, how do we get what we want without giving up our lifestyle and our integrity? And if you want a family like that, like giving up all that stuff, because what you end up with the Gary V. Grant Cardone approach is you put all that stuff at risk to get one thing, to get known, to get famous. And the problem is most people that I know that want to be influential, they want to impact lives and they want to be known for that. They don't want to have their kids hate them in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And they're not willing to do what it takes to get famous if that's what it means.
Do you feel like you have like a non-traditional approach to business and having influence and all this stuff?
I have a non-traditional approach to everything from the time I was little and used to tell people there is no Santa Claus. Stop believing in that crap. I was
spoiler alert if you have children in the room. Jeez.
I know.
We'll have to put a content warning on this.
We edit that one.
Let's see. Then when I
Leak
was
that one out.
When I was 12, I remember sitting in youth group and offending all 100 kids there by telling them rap music. There was no way like Christian rap music was a misnomer. There was no such thing. Which was a dumb point of view, by the way, but I had no problem pissing off literally everyone in that room, including my own best friend. I literally had 100 heads turn around and like start yelling at me.
What
So
was
no,
the
I
reasoning
don't have-
behind that?
Yeah,
That there
that's
is no
because I was-
Christian
it's
rap
a hot
music?
I was
take.
raised super fundamental. So it was like if it wasn't worship
Ah.
music, if it wasn't like church music, it wasn't allowed basically.
Mhm.
It's all BS. Like Rebecca and I have talked about that outside of this. Like I have very different views now, but I had no problem pissing people off. So yeah, like I pretty much approach everything contrarian, but hopefully not for its own sake, right? So one of the things the best things I got from my dad, who was a pastor growing up, was that it doesn't matter what I think, it doesn't matter what you or anybody else thinks. The truth is all that matters. And so you can think you have the truth, and that's great, shout it from the rooftops, but as soon as you figure out that what you believe isn't quite the truth, then you adjust accordingly immediately and get your act together. And so I am more concerned with what's right and what works rather than whether I said it or not.
That's good, because I was just about to bust into a Christian rap. No, I'm just
Yes, that's
joking.
right. Propaganda. Look right.
Yeah, I don't know if you know Lecrae, but he's a good friend of mine. No,
Is he?
no kidding.
One of my good friends almost got signed by Toby Mac.
Oh,
I
really?
have, which is funny because I talked about
kids
my
love
beliefs changing. Like in 2013, I literally played every instrument and sang on a Christian hip hop album. That's how
Okay,
much I
hold
changed.
on.
What?
You go from saying there is no Christian rap music to I'm going to produce an entire hip hop album
Yeah.
in the Christian space.
Yeah,
how did
as
that go?
one does, as
As
one does.
You're like, there's
Natural
actually some
progression.
money here.
There was no money involved, believe me. Oh my God, no.
It was a passion project.
It was a passion project. Yes.
Okay,
Totally.
so you play every instrument, right?
Yeah.
How has that gotten you anything other than just some joy in your life?
I was
But
going to
he's the
say an
guitar
endless
guy at the
roller
party.
coaster ride of frustration. I'm not the guitar guy at the party. No, I wish I was that guy. Oh, that guy has it so easy. Just pick up and play a little
Yeah,
Don
there you go.
McLean,
Play a
and
little-
you go home with the hottest girl at the party. No, I grew up with drumsticks in my hands. My grandparents got me sticks at age 2. I picked up like piano in my mid-teens, and then like enough guitar and bass to like get by. But I couldn't like play. I couldn't pick up guitar, like acoustic guitar, at a party and like play songs. If you sat me in front of a piano, because I played worship music and stuff, I was the guy that like brought the room down, as in like not a good way, right? Like I played.
We're just gonna kill.
I don't
the
mean
vibe
brought the
now.
house down. I mean brought the mood down. So no, I love what I do. I love that. Like I have a style that I enjoy, but it's not for everybody. And so no, I was never that guy. I got into playing bands in my mid-20s. That's when I joined my first real rock band, and that was a lot of fun. I took a shot at being a pro musician for about 5 years. Got into I was playing in 4 bands at a time. We did get pitched to record labels. I got signed to management. That's as far as I could push it. And then I had one of my 17th midlife crisis and decided to get out of that.
In your 20s.
Yeah, that was, I chased the dream at a very odd age.
For a rock star, 20s
age
is midlife.
27 to 32.
Oh,
So I
that
can't-
is later.
Oh, yeah, that
Oh
is
yeah,
later,
this is after I started a real estate team. I started a real estate team in 06. Got out of the business in 07, and summer of 07.
Well, who
when things
didn't get
really
out of
started
the
to
business
crack.
in 07?
I did not have
That's when I got
emotional
into the
maturity.
business.
Yeah, I joined
it?
in January of 07. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Cohen, who runs
I
the team building
graduated
podcast,
high
and I
school
got
in
in the same
07.
time. We don't want to hear them. We don't want to hear things like that.
Nobody likes you, Becca.
Yeah, come on now.
Listen, just because you're all old bearded men.
That's
doesn't
true.
mean-
Yeah. We are.
So our last guest was also named Matt and was in a rock band in his
Seriously?
20s. So yes,
That's
so that's like
hilarious.
my theme. I'm only going to have Matts
Matts
who
that have
have a
been in
musical
it.
background
Becca
on
like
this show.
low-key trying to like put a band together.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is not so random after all.
The floor mats, yeah, taking over the world, 2023.
The
There you
floor
go.
mats. That's funny.
Uh-huh.
I had a very short stint with a group one weekend. Me and my friends made it. It was called Four Stupid White Guys.
Okay.
And the key was how you spell the word for, because
Okay.
there were 4 of us, but mainly what we decided to produce that one weekend was FOR, Stupid White Guys.
I was hoping it was going to be with a
Oh
PH.
my God.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was fun.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
mainly all like, beatboxing and dumb, I would say backcountry rap is what it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What is
Gosh,
it?
we got a rap theme
Nappy
here.
Roots? Is that like kind of in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
general
kinda,
vein?
yeah.
Okay.
It was just for a weekend, and then we were done.
My rap partner at the time was very into that stuff. Yes, the down
Tell me we
home
have
country.
recordings of this.
No, there was no recording. It was literally on a camping type weekend, a retreat, and we were just like, let's go. And we had big dreams, and then that was it. We never talked. Every now and then we'll talk about it. Like, hey, 4 stupid white guys. I'll see them around.
Matt, would we be able to find any of your music online on YouTube?
Yeah,
or-
but not the hip hop stuff. I haven't put it out on YouTube.
I was
It's
actually
it's
searching for it
My
already.
laptop. It's for me. I enjoy listening to it. Yeah, if you go to Timeless Focus, there's a bunch of instrumental stuff there.
Timeless Focus.
But
Yeah,
is that going to be like instrumental rock music or?
sort of. Yeah, I can
Sort
send
of.
you. Like, there's some covers that I've done over the last couple of years that are under my name. I
Okay.
did the last thing I did in the studio was I took Phil Collins' "In the Air Tonight" and U2's "New Year's Day," and I mashed them up into one song.
Interesting. Can we hear that right now? Can you please give us a live performance?
It's 8 minutes long, so the answer is
Okay,
no.
an
No, you
That's one of
can't.
my that's one of my favorite things to do are those, or to listen to, are those mashups, because
I do
you know
too.
I'm a very busy guy, so I don't have a lot of time. So listening to 2 songs at once is kind of ideal.
Sure, it's a time.
Yeah, it's mainly how I look at it.
Ray, do you have ADHD? Is that what's going on here?
Oh my god. Well, the good thing is like The Weeknd and Flock of Seagulls are essentially the same thing. So I mean, you can just if you listen to The Weeknd, you basically heard all 80s music.
Nice. Is this you? Is this what we're looking at?
I don't know. We don't
Oh
see
wait,
me
There's
on
no
the
screen
screen,
share,
so.
Sorry.
yeah.
Here.
So
There you
yeah,
go.
that is him in the bottom
Yeah, that's
corner
me.
Is
there.
that you? Timeless
Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah, it's the instrumental stuff.
At Timeless Focus on YouTube. It's your instrument. I had no idea you were so
Ooh.
talented.
Productivity music that doesn't put you to sleep.
Yeah, this
I
could
would
be
probably
good.
need something like that because everyone says, "Oh, listen to lo-fi," and that just
Mhm.
makes me want to pass out.
100%. Yep, me too.
I'm gonna play a couple of seconds of it. I think I
Okay.
can get away with 4 seconds without getting an auto copyright strike. So I'm gonna go right to the middle. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. Oh yeah.
Skip to about 3/4 in.
I like that, and I like how you have your book advertised right here. Microfame. It's in the bottom left corner of the screen at the back of your laptop.
I do
It's
like
pretty good.
laptop skins. Yes.
Yeah, that's smart. You said 3/4
Always
of the
be
way.
marketing.
That's over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, because that's mostly when the like solos and stuff are.
Okay.
Maybe not in this case.
I
Never
happen
mind.
to pick a slip. Oh, there you go. I like it. We have similar lights in the background, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
that the little ship light.
Oh yeah. I
Ship
love
light
those.
back there. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. If you're gonna do YouTube, you gotta have good practical lights.
It breaks up the bokeh. You know,
Apparently.
you got to get something to break up the bokeh look back there, just to kind of add the eye. That's good, man. So well, first, like, let's go way back.
Yeah.
You launched a real estate team.
Okay.
You did a stint with hip hop career, right?
Sure.
5-year stint. I assume you were doing other things while you're trying that. You know, most artists are doing
Odd jobs. Yeah.
odd jobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went from that to launching a real estate podcast. Like, what's this interim? What's
okay.
the middle that kind of happened to where you are at the launch of that podcast?
Okay. So I was working a sales job, managing like a huge territory, like most of the Midwest up into like Idaho. So I traveled a bunch. Came off the road, decided like I want to get like a full-time gig. I want to help my dad, kind of maybe start another church again. This is like 2014. And so I moved to Omaha. I responded to one ad and one ad only. I got a call from the CEO that night. We ended up talking for an hour. He says, come in tomorrow for an audition or not, like an interview with my business partner. So this is in Omaha, and I got the gig, and that was viral marketing, right? So viral marketing serves like the real estate space. They do video and email marketing for a lot of the top agents around the country. And because of that, they have a bunch of relationships with people that are like the next level up, which is the coaches, trainers, speakers, thought leaders, like all those types, right? So I worked my way up from there, and the plan was to put me in business development. So he brought me out to San Diego for training, right? I was supposed to just come out here for training, and then I was thinking about moving back to Denver. And I got out and I started running like webinars, right? So Joshua Smith, Michael Mayer, Matthew Ferry, Greg Harrelson, like some really, really awesome people. And I was realizing that, I really enjoy this. Like, these are fun. Like, I know the business. I know who the coaches are. Like, I know how to ask good questions, right? And so one of them that I was doing the webinars with basically called me up one day. I was already working with him as a client too. So like we would get together every Friday and record videos for just his normal real estate practice, right? And he's like, dude, I've been thinking about starting a podcast. He says, I think we should do it together. And I'm like, I was gonna call you literally next week and pitch you the same thing. So sure, let's do it. That was
That's
Real Estate
wild.
Uncensored, right? So that was Greg McDaniel. So I started doing that, and then I hooked up with Jeff Cohn, and he basically brought me on as a consultant to help grow his like what became Elite Real Estate Systems. It was like this vague idea of coaching team leaders and stuff, right? So we launched that podcast. Then I launched Greg Harrelson's podcast, all kind of around that same within a year or so. So yeah, I kind of got pulled into launching podcasts. That wasn't the plan. I thought I was going to make my money in the real estate space, being like a thought leader and creating courses and training for agents and just be like the marketing guy for those businesses. The problem or opportunity or whatever was that out of all the stuff that we tried, podcasting was the thing that actually worked the best to grow those businesses and
which
get
is exactly
agents in.
opposite of most people, by the way.
Yeah.
Podcasting is a hard road to haul. So you put some special sauce on the podcast to make it work, I assume.
You mean besides my sparkling personality?
Yeah, we know that didn't work. No.
Yeah, exactly. Touche. Yes. The answer is hopefully yes. Hopefully I have some special sauce. Yeah, I would say it's strategy, clear thinking. Not just, I've never been really seduced by the hustle culture stuff. And so we didn't just put a podcast out there and go, okay, great. Now let's just work our butt off to promote it. We tried hard to create its own category, to do something different from what was already out there. So we still have videos from that time period, like 2015, 2016, where they're still getting hundreds of views now because they were like sales and marketing training. So as opposed to all the interview stuff that was out there, which was a dime a dozen even then, that was 7 years ago, we came out and we had guests on, but it was like, okay, let's freaking train the audience. And then a lot of the episodes that we did that were hits for us were just me and Greg freaking content, 45 minutes, bam, 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 bam. And those still do really well for us on YouTube. So that kind of separated us in the early days from other real estate podcasts that were just like, so how do you like to market your business? And it's just a whole bunch of scattered questions. It's the same questions for everybody. And, it was kind of, it was fine when there was literally nothing else. But as soon as that was out there, it's like, well, doing another one of those isn't going to get us anywhere. So I think that was the first secret sauce, was just trying to create our own category. And even just the rudimentary attempts that we did at that with that goal and ended up working.
That's cool. So you had a pretty clear audience, pretty clear purpose of what you wanted, how you wanted to differentiate from the current market. And it sounds like you leaned in to, so there were, if I remember correct, and when about that time that was launching with the hustle culture was kind of at its, I would say at its all-time peak, you kind of took like a counterculture angle at that, where you had to, to be successful, you got to hustle.
Sort of.
And you're like, well, you did.
My co-host is all about it.
That's good. That even makes it
part
better
of the
when you have
dynamic of the show.
disagreement. Yeah.
Yes, it was a lot of fun because we playfully disagreed a lot. So we would basically take questions from like random Facebook groups, or we used to do it live on the show, either on YouTube or on Facebook, right? So we were one of the we got like backdoor access to one of the very first integrations with Facebook Live. It was called Lively. So like we were the first ones that were out there podcasting live on Facebook. So that gave us a huge boost. And so we were able to see like the comments, the interaction. We were able to like answer questions in real time. And by the way, I could see the view count. So as a podcast host, that got me real sharp real quick, because you realize when the numbers go down, you're losing people's attention. You shift gears. Like it trains you out of some of the bad podcasting.
Need some energy.
Anyway.
I gotta get some energy.
Oh yeah, exactly. You learn to get into content real quick.
Yeah, that's so true.
But anyway, yeah, like because we're like able to do that stuff live, we're able to take questions live. And so we take these questions and then give our own spin on what we thought that person should do. And it was hilarious because our answers were so wildly different that the audience was like they have to kind of pick which one they liked better. But that was a really fun dynamic to have, was two people that have completely different points of view, and they would playfully yell at each other.
Did people like your ideas more than his, or was it 50-50?
Oh, no.
They liked his more?
No. Oh, absolutely. Everybody loves hustle culture.
Yeah,
I mean, especially in real estate.
Yeah.
Like it's about, I bet it's about 80-20. So here's how I think it breaks down. I would say it's like out of the average real estate agent, if they've heard of any of these people at all, right? It's 80% hustle culture, 20% law of attraction. Because the law of attraction is extremely attractive to agents because it doesn't require them to do anything, at least in their minds.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying that's the real Eastern philosophy side of it, but to their minds, it means I can just think, I can wishy things. I can wish nice things, and nice things will happen for me.
That's the
I didn't believe either of those things.
that's what the person that goes to the ninja selling seminar comes out with that wasn't really paying attention. Like they ignore all the hard work that Larry talks about. Like
the actual
no,
nitty gritty
you just have to
relationship
sit and
building.
think about it. Get your NLP right.
That's fine. I watched The Secret, so like this is all I got to do, right?
Yeah, that's
You got
it.
it.
That's
You
it.
got it.
Manifest
Exactly.
it.
The giver.
Yeah. Oh man. So I don't. Here's what I don't know. Because Rebecca, you've seen the stuff that I'm talking about on YouTube and Instagram now,
Mhm.
right? And I'm really dialing in, so I'm just focusing on YouTube. But I felt left out by both of those two camps. Like I do not fit into the hustle bro camp, right? I don't have the energy for that. I've got about 4 hours of good energy a day, and then I'm toast or something. I got to go do something different. And I don't have the time to wait to like work through my childhood trauma to grow my business, right? I got to get sales next week. So I think there's a lot of people that were like me that were stuck in the middle of those and don't quite know why they don't feel like they fit in. Now, there's a bunch of real estate agents that are probably very happy with hustle culture because they just love to be busy and they love to multitask, and it makes them feel very important and good for them, right? I'm not interested in them. But I am interested in helping the people that felt left out, like me, and like they don't feel like they fit in, and they listen to all of the stuff that's out there on success. And when you really pay attention to it, it kind of just breaks down into those two camps. Because if it's not hustle bro, it's at least productivity, biohacking, and the underlying assumption is success comes from getting more done, right? Or success comes from being more, being different, being someone better. It's either doing or being. It's like one of the two. That's what I don't agree with. And I think there's a whole segment of people out there. I have no idea how big it is. I don't know how big of a niche this is. It could be 2%, it could be 80%. But I'm putting my point of view out there because I know that there's some group of people that are realists, pragmatists, overthinkers, deep thinkers, critical thinkers, right? A little negative, that have had, life has kicked them in the teeth a bit over the years. And so they really don't fit into the spiritual woo-woo crowd, and they don't really fit into the hustle crowd. So it's like, they're like, well, where, like, none of this stuff really resonates and none of it really works. That's who I'm speaking to now. I just have no idea what the percentage is.
It's the power yoga crowd.
The power yoga crowd?
Yeah.
Power yoga
crowd. They like the spiritual woo-woo, but they also like going for a really hard workout. They just want to do it at the same time.
There's a guy named Sean on YouTube that does like bro yoga. Yes, he's like a 45-year-old dude. And while he's doing yoga, which is fast, and it's like yoga Pilates and stuff like that, he'll like drop like original series Star Trek references or references to old Boris Karloff movies. It's great.
Is this Broga? Because I have to.
It's not great. Broga, but it's in that general no nonsense yoga without the spirituality. Yeah. So yeah, maybe that's not a bad idea
for the Star Trek bros.
I like this. Okay, I'm gonna.
No, I mean, the anti-hustle culture, I feel like, is definitely becoming more popular. At least in my circles, I'm coming across more people who are like, I'm just so over this because it's too much. Especially with moms who, right now it's summer, their kids are out of school, they still have their real estate business that they're having to run, but they're also the primary caregiver, and it's overwhelming. And then you get beat up by other people when you're like, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? You're supposed to be doing more. And it's like, I feel like I'm already going as fast as I can. Or you're having to decide, okay, am I going to spend time with my family? Am I going to spend time on my business? Am I being a bad mom? Am I being a bad agent? And hustle culture doesn't really help you with that, because it's just like, get up at 4 a.m. Just go do the things. I did the things, so why can't you do the things? But everybody's wired different.
They are wired different priorities. Yeah, like my girl runs the brand called Boss Mom. So she's got her podcast, and the Facebook group is like at 70,000 people. And so she has these conversations and has for years. And yeah, like I have no kids and no interest in having kids. So I can't relate to that part of it, but she does. And so she has these conversations, and yeah, women are insanely conflicted, and hustle culture especially does not serve them at all. And so the only people that make it work are, there's somebody in her same space that basically like openly humble bragged. I don't know what you call this, but she essentially came out and said, look, I built a 7-figure business, and here's how I did it. I worked day and night on it, and I essentially gave my kids to my ex and a nanny to watch them for most of a year while I built this business.
That's exactly what Gary says.
Like,
yeah, that's what he did. That's to start. He was like, I ignored my family completely to get this thing going. I try to spend time with them every now and then, but I'm putting them to the side to build this thing.
Yeah. I've never heard him say that openly. I don't pay as much
Yeah.
attention to what he has to
It was
say.
years ago,
But yeah,
whenever things were
was it?
turning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's and here's the problem. That's people are going to burn out on the hustle culture, but because of what's out there and the lack of what's out there, the only thing they think they have to turn to is the spiritual woo stuff. So either that'll be the next thing, or people are just going to be lost and something else is going to come up. I don't know what else is going to come up, but yeah, if you just look at the landscape right now, that's essentially the only other thing that's out there, right? So you've got, like the last really interesting thing that happened in like self-development was like Mark Manson and Jen Sincero and stuff like that. And all that is just the same stuff repackaged with cuss words in it. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing really, it's kind of like letting go, acceptance and commitment therapy, psychology stuff, which is all great. Like I love it, but